I hope that somehow there will be an attempt to break out of the situation that we're in now. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Mr. Trump's, but even if he tries to do something, the Congress, the US Congress, seems hell-bent on not allowing that. And I don't know why. Now, if the American establishment wants regime change in Russia, wants Putin out and someone different in, if that is the aim of the people who run this country, let's put it that way, that is extremely dangerous. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Russians are living worse today than they did 5 years ago. The sanctions are hurting. But the average Russian is saying, we're being punished for things we never did. This is not fair. This is the American bully throwing his weight around. And we'll take it. We can take it. And I think that's true. The Russians, the tougher it is, the more tough they become. They're pretty weak when things are good. No, it's true. But when things are tough, that's when they're really, And I was reading this book by Arthur Schlesinger, Jr. It's called The Cycles of American History. And he dwells on 1850, when there were revolutions in Europe in 1848, and there was a Hungarian Revolution, and the leader of that revolution was a man called Kossuth. And finally that revolution was destroyed by the Austrians and the Russians. And so, speaking in Congress, an American senator said that the United States should interfere. This is 1850. And Senator Hale. And there's this quote. He said, the future historian might start off his chapter about the year 1850 in the following manner. At the commencement of this year, the American Senate, the highest legislative body of the world, the wisest, greatest, and most magnanimous people that ever lived or ever will live, forgetting and neglecting the trifling local affairs which concerned their own limits, constituted themselves into a high court and proceeded to try the nations of the earth for atrocious acts of despotism. Wow. 1850, the idea that the United States has the right to interfere in other countries because they behave badly from a U.S. or other point of view, from a U.S. point of view. 1850. Well, then you begin to understand a lot of other things, because that's what the United States has done time and time again. But when another country does that, that's not permissible. So in Syria, if the U.S. goes in to protect the so-called, and support the so-called moderate opposition, and the Russians go in to support Assad, the Americans can do it, that's okay. The Russians can't. Where's your logic here? It's a tit-for-tat thing, isn't it? So, that's pretty much, in my view, the answer to that's how I look at this issue.